Room 1, please.
I think to calculate it by multiply.
Please speak loudly.
I think to calculate x it by um, a is by multiple a with c, and to calculate e it multiple b with d.
Okay, I asked to apply the table method. Okay.
Apply table method.
For the table methods, okay? For the table methods, so this is the information we use when we derive x. Please give an explanation.
Well, I
can you speak loudly?
Well, I can explanation. Maybe someone else can. Sorry.
Okay. So, room 1. Anyone else in room 1? No. Room 2, please.
We have the calculation for the I, the Y. We haven't have the calculation for the X.
Okay, so let's start with Y.
Okay. The 1 GBP can we can see in the we have the GBP is the commodity money, and change to the USD. We will have like 1 USD equal to B. We have the VND is the commodity, and we will exchange to the USD. So we have 1 USD is BVND. So the USD.
So for the Y, the client holds VND at first, right?
Yes, and the bank holds the USD.
Okay, so in the exchange rate of the USD and VND, which one is the commodity currency?
VND is the commodity currency.
No.
USD?
Yes.
And then we have 1 USD is equal to BVND.
Why?
And then
why 1 USD equal to BVND?
Because we can see it on the theories. EUSD with VND is AB.
Yes.
So
that's just the information.
So the offer rate is the exchange rate in this situation.
Okay. In here, B is the offer rate, right?
Yes.
And my question is that why we applying the offer rate here rather than the bid rate?
Because we need to find the max.
No, forget the min-max. The min-max is due when we need to we apply the fast calculation. So in here, you just focus on the direction of the transaction. Why we use the offer rate here rather than the bid rate? when we need to apply the offer rate, when we need to apply the bid rate.
The bid rate we will use when the quoting bank buy the money from the outside.
Which kind of money?
Foreign currency.
The commodity currency.
Yeah.
Okay, we apply the bid rate when the quoting bank buy the commodity currency in the exchange rate. And in this direction, in this transaction, we apply the offer rate because the bank sells the commodity currency. That's the reason. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, that's finish the first step. Okay, move to the next step.
Yes. So the next step is the bank will sell it to the client.
So you need to start from what the client hold in hand in the second step. What the client do first in the step 2. In the step 2, what currency the client hold here?
GBP. The currency is USD.
Okay, so after finishing the step 1, the client holds the USD in hand. Okay, then what the client do?
The client will exchange for the GBP to the bank.
Okay.
And the bank will sell the GBP to the USD.
Okay. So what exchange rate apply here?
We can use D because the bank sell the currency, the foreign currency. So we use the offer rate.
So in here, you shouldn't mention the foreign currency, because if we stand in the Vietnamese shoe, so both USD and GBP are the foreign currency. So when we apply this method, we should refer the currency to the commodity currency or the term currency. Okay? In the way, they refer to the commodity or the term currency. So in here, why we apply the D? Why 1 GBP equal to D USD?
Because the bank sell the commodity currency to the client.
Okay. So in the exchange rate of the GBP against the USD, GBP is the commodity currency. And in here, the bank sell the commodity currency. So we apply the offer rate. Okay?
Yes.
And finally, the client holds GBP in hand. Okay?
Yes.
And we know 1 USD equal to B VND and 1 GBP equal to D USD. Put them together, we have the 1 GBP equal to B times D VND. Okay? That's what we derive the Y. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Khánh. Now, for X, room 3, please.
Yes.
Okay.
In this case, client sell VND and bank sell USD. We will have USD will be the commodity currency, After this, client will hold USD and sell them to gain SGD. So in this stage, USD also the commodity currency. So finally, we will have the
Why we use C here? Why 1 USD equal to C SGD?
Because in this case, client in this case USD is commodity currency. Both bank sell the SD, so we will see here.
It
And,
not doesn't directly tackle my question. In here, the bank, they buy the commodity currency, okay?
Yes.
So the bank will apply the bit rate here.
Yes. So finally, we have both BND and SGD is quoted by USD, and then we will have one SGD is C.
Okay. Sorry, but
Yeah.
I made a mistake. X for X, right? We have in the first transaction, 1 USD equal to D SGD. In the second transaction, 1 USD equal to AVND. Oh.
Yes.
Am I right or am I make a mistake? Let me take. In here, X, okay, in here.
Well, so now client sell GBP to gain USD,
Okay.
and then they sell USD to gain VND.
Why in the first transaction apply C?
It's because the bank sell USD. It's by GBP.
Okay. Because the bank buys the GBP and GBP, yes. So we focus on the commodity currency. Okay, in order to escape from mistake, we focus on whether the bank buy or sell the commodity currency. And you should remember in X exchange rate, which one is the commodity currency? In the first exchange, in the first step, the bank buys the commodity currency in here, the GBP. So apply the C. Okay, in the second step?
In the second step, the bank buys the USD, and USD is commodity currency. So we will do A. And finally, 1 GBP equal A times C in D.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, that's the way we derive the gross rate in the second case. Next, we move to the third one. The third one, okay. USD is term currency in both exchange rates. So we have the information in the market, the exchange rate of the dollar, the Australia dollar against the USD, and in the second case, the GBP against the USD. Now you need to derive the GBP against the AUD. Okay, let's start with X. Okay, who can explain how to derive X? I need volunteer. Any volunteer to explain the third case? That please.
So in the first case, you are the client and you will sell GBP to the bank to get the USD. So 1 GBP you sell, you get CUSD. And then the bank they will sell AUD to you, and you will pay them with USD. So the bank will sell 1 AUD for BUSD. So, and then you can convert the 1 USD equal to 1 over BAUD, and then you can do some calculation and you get 1 GBP equal C over BAUD, I guess.
Okay, so that's for the X. How about the Y?
The Y?
The offer rate?
I haven't figured it out yet.
Okay, can you give it a try?
The client, yeah,
okay.
the client, they will sell AUD to the bank. At first, at the rate 1 AUD equal a USD.
Why?
Because AUD is a commodity currency and USD is a term currency. So client will sell AUD to the bank first.
Okay, because here the bank buy the commodity currency. Okay, so they apply the bit rate in the exchange rate of the AUD against USD, right? Okay. Yeah. In the second step,
because GBP is a commodity currency, so the bank will sell GBP to you. So 1 GBP equal DUSD. And
why D here?
What?
Why the exchange rate here is the 1 GBP equal to D USD?
Because GBP is a commodity currency, so the bank will sell GBP to you.
Okay, the bank sell the commodity currency, so we apply the offer rate in the exchange rate of GBP against USD. Okay.
Yes.
And then.
Yeah.
That's all.
That's all I know.
Okay. Finally, the client holds GBP. Okay, and we with some mathematical rearrangement, we had the 1 GBP equal to D divided by AUD. Okay. Thank you. So that's the way we use when we apply the table method. Okay. So we have the two methods, the fast calculation and the table method. And you should practice with the table method in order to obtain the full understanding of the way the transaction occurs. So now we move to the next part. We study the profits and the losses in the following exchange trading, the profit and the losses are generated from buying and selling different currency at different rates. And the rule is the quoting bank always make profits and asking bank always suffer losses when they transact the same currency. Okay, first for the quoting bank. So let's start with the case when the quoting bank transacts the same amount of the currency in here, same amount of the commodity currency. Let's start with the one when the quoting bank transacts one USD. Okay, so we have the two columns. In the first column is the direction of the transaction. In the second column, second and third column is the flows of USD and VNG. And the last column is the exchange rate information. In the first step, the quoting bank buys the USD. And suppose that we have the exchange rate information of the USD against VND. The bid rate is 23,260, and for the offer rate is 23,380. Okay, so in the first step, when the quoting bank buy $1, okay, so because the quoting bank buy the commodity currency, so in here we apply they apply the bid rate. Okay, so we have in the flow of the USD, $1, in the flow of the VND, the quoting bank will pay 23,260. Okay, so plus mean the flow in and minus is the flow out. Okay, we have the inflow and the outflow. Positive means the inflow, negative in the out means the outflow. Okay, and in the next step, the quoting bank will sell the USD. Okay, they buy $1 in the previous step, and in this step they sell the same amount. And because the quoting bank they sell the commodity currency, so they will apply the offer rate. So in here, the offer rate is 23,380. Okay, finally, for the profits, so they transact the same amount of the commodity currency. So in the flow of the USD is 0, and in the flow of the VND is 120. It's the profit of the quoting bank. So in here, for X dollar transact, the quoting bank gets a profit of 120 Vietnamese đồng. Is the profits. In the second case, when the quoting bank transacts the same amount of the term currency, suppose that the quoting bank transacts 100,000 Vietnamese đồng. Okay, so in the first transaction, the quoting bank buy VND, so we have flow of the VND is positive, and the quoting bank buy VND, it means that they will pay the USD, right? In other words, they will sell the USD, so we apply the offer rate. Okay, always remember whether the quoting bank buy or sell the commodity currency in the exchange rate. Okay, so if you always remember that, so you make no mistake. In the first transaction, the quoting bank buy the term currency, or in other words, they will sell the commodity currency, so apply the offer rate. In the second transaction, the quoting bank sell the VND, so, and in return, okay, they will receive the UND, or in other words, they will buy the USD, or they buy the commodity currency. Okay, so apply the bit rate. So for the profits, so we have the 0 in the VND, and we have some positive amount of the USD. Okay, so for each 1,000 Vietnamese dong transaction, they will achieve this amount of the profit. So in the two cases, the quoting bank always obtain the positive profit, always receive the profits when they transact, no matter what currency they transact, whether the commodity or the term currency, they always obtain the positive profits, okay, when they transact the same amount of the money. How about the asking bank? For the asking bank, the asking bank transact the same amount of the commodity currency, okay? In the first transaction, the asking bank buy USD. Buy USD, the asking bank buy the USD here. The quoting bank will sell the USD. So the quoting bank will apply the offer rate. So we have the 23,380. In the second transaction, the asking bank sell the USD. So in turn, the quoting bank will buy the commodity currency. Okay, so they just pay at the bid rate. So then, for the USD, it's 0, and for the VND, for each dollar transact, the asking bank will lose 120 VND. Similarly, when the asking bank transact the same amount of VND, okay, in here, 100,000 VND, it will lose this amount of the USD. Okay, so finally, the general conclusion is that the quoting bank obtain the positive profits, okay, while the asking bank will incur a loss when they transact the same amount of the money. Okay, now we have some questions for practice. Okay, let's do the question 1. We have a couple of minutes to practice the question 1, and then I will ask one of you to answer for the class.